Dr. Joseph Varon is the Chief of Staff at United Memorial Medical Center in Houston. Dr. Varon, don't think that just because, first we should mention that this is the heartbreaking photo that, went viral at the height of the pandemic, and you're comforting a sick patient there. And so many people remember that. And what I was going to say, doctor, is, don't think that just because I've moved to the afternoons that I'm going to stop pestering you about your workload. And you know what I'm talking about, because this is your 407th day straight, okay, that you have been working. And it is just shocking for all of us to hear that, but you felt that you had no choice. And so, doctor, I'll get to when you're going to take a vacation in a minute. But first, just tell us what's happening in Texas, because I remember that the day that the Texas governor announced the lifting of the mask mandate, and you were very worried. You told us you feared that all of your hard work would go down the drain. But it hasn't. I mean, since then, I'll pull up a graph. Since it was lifted on March 10th, the case numbers in Texas and the deaths have steadily gone down. So just tell us what happened in Texas.
Well, I can tell you what happens in my hospital. My hospital, initially, indeed, we had a decrease in the number of cases. However, over the last 2 weeks, we've had an increase in number of patients. At some point in time, I only had like 8 patients in the hospital with COVID. In a period of a week, that number quadrupled. So I have, right now I have 32 patients with COVID, which, yes, it's less than 50% of my capacity, but we're still seeing them. Just now, as I was getting ready to start with you guys, I had to admit 2 patients. One interesting thing that's going on is that most of the patients that we're seeing are under the age of 50. And the second thing is that they are coming into us extremely sick. And that may be because many of them say, it's just, COVID, it's no big deal. And they come in late, or they just don't want to come to the hospital because of concerns of getting in trouble in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. So we know that we're getting to the point where the supply of the demand is outpacing soon, the supply of the vaccine, I should say, outpacing demand. We spoke with some Texans who are choosing not to get vaccinated. Listen to this.
You getting vaccinated?
No, I don't need a vaccine. I had COVID last March. Sick for all of 5 hours. Yeah. I don't need a vaccine for that.
The CDC recommends even if you have COVID, you should get vaccinated.
Well, they can recommend stuff.
It's got emergency approval, right? And
who's the emergency? Who's determining the emergency approval?
So you think Trump was wrong on this one?
I don't know what the situation is on that, but I know I'm not wrong. And we're the independent freedom people of America, and we make our own decisions.
We know there's this political divide amongst those who will and will not get the vaccine, but what's your reaction to what you heard there?
Well, it's obviously, for me, it's sad to hear things like that, because I'm the one that is on the front lines. I get to see those patients that don't listen. Every single patient that I have right now in my unit is a patient that did not get a vaccine for one or other reason. The fact is that vaccines work. And the numbers that you guys were mentioning as to why we're going down is because of the vaccine. There's no question about it. The more people we vaccinate, the better off we are. I know that there is a lot of concern about the potential side effects and stuff like that, but for God's sake, everything we do has a potential risk. And more importantly, when you consider feeling sick for a couple of days, or a very weird illness that can happen 1 in a million, versus getting COVID and dying from COVID, there is no question in my mind that we need to cover. And I get so passionate about it because, like I said, I'm the one that has been working for 407 continuous days. So when I see that people don't want to get the vaccine, the first thing that I want to know is whether they were educated as far as the vaccine development. None of all of these things that we hear that this vaccine was developed overnight and nonsense like that.
Doctor, I'm so glad you're pointing that out, because when I hear people talking like that about how it's their personal freedom not to get the vaccine, of course that's true. Of course they can exercise their personal freedom, but I don't think that they're thinking about your freedom. I don't ever hear them talking about the repercussions for the doctors and nurses who are in the hospitals who have to deal with this. And as you said, people are younger and sicker now than you've ever seen before. And so you are, of course, as always, just having to deal with all of that. And so, doctor, that leads me to my question. It's been 407 days. Are you going to be able to take a day off anytime soon?
I'm probably going to take a day off a week from Saturday. My son is getting married and he's going to have a bachelor party. And believe it or not, he invited me to a bachelor party, which will be, there will be social distancing and all that stuff, but I am going.
So you are taking a day? You're taking a week? What are you taking off?
Oh, I'm just taking a day off.
Oh, my God.
One day.
All right.
I mean, it's interesting that he invites his dad to his bachelor party. I mean,
that says a lot about
yes,
what a
it
great
does.
dad Dr.
It
Varon
does.
is. Dr. Varon, I don't know if one day is my prescription for you, but it's a start. So thank you, as always, for all that you do. We really appreciate checking in with you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Varon.